Hey, what is going on everyone? Welcome back to a brand new video. My name is Ryan, and today I'm going to review some of my games during the second Transatlantic Professional Go League. Now, unlike before, instead of just doing it plain on Sabaki, I decided to review with AI. Now, since I don't actually have AI on my computer, I decided to use AI Sensei. Now, AI Sensei is also a sponsor of the league itself, so I'd like to give them a big shout out for that, and also a big shout out to the organizers for allowing me to use their website and for providing me an account to do so. Now, AI Sensei is actually pretty easy to use. It's actually free, so I'm going to press sign in here, and I think I'm gonna go with sign in with Google. And so I'm now gonna see all my Google accounts, and there you go. So now we're in, and I'm just gonna press the accept button here. Yeah, so AI Sensei is actually pretty nice because it's actually free and it provides a very good interface that's browser based, and you can just review your games. There are actually a lot of other features that they recently developed, but I think it's more known as a website to do self-reviews. So on the left you can see like a lot of buttons here, and right now I think I have like a mid-tier kind of membership. Now if you're just using a free membership, you still have access to most of these features. Now, the only difference between the tiers is I will show you now. So if to upload a game, I'm going to just do this live. I have a bunch of pro games here that I've taught in a few of my classes. So when you upload, you can see that for the higher tiers, you can actually have more playouts per move, which isn't really necessary. Most of the time when you're using AI, you're just kind of looking for ideas anyway, which I will get a little bit deeper into when we actually review the game. So when you upload the game, it will start analyzing, and then it will actually run through the game and show the results. Now I'm just gonna go to a game that I've had, so you can see like I was actually reviewing some of my games. Also, the Transatlantic Cup game was a pretty disappointing loss. Now I'm gonna go to this game. This is actually the first game that I played in the Pro League, and it was kind of interesting. So you can kind of see how rusty I was. I made a very big blunder, and you can actually kind of see that from the rank graph on the right side. You can see that the score graph kind of looks like this. You can actually configure this however you want. So this is in terms of points. So if you go to advanced options down here, which actually you cannot see because my head is blocking it. So I'm just going to scroll up a little bit more. So you can see that there are some advanced options up here. So if you click that, you can actually do a lot of cool stuff, like you can show move suggestions or hide them. You can only show mistakes. You can also show some visualizations as well, or toggle between win percentage or points. I think I've typically found that points are usually more informative, so I typically just stick to points. So that's the rank graph, and you can kind of click on it to see like what stage of the game you're at. You can see like over here, black is just winning by way too much at the end. So you can kind of get a sense of how the game is going. What's also very interesting, I think it's very exclusive to AI Sensei, is that you can actually design problems for yourself. So if you see a mistake that you kind of feel like it's like one that you make a lot, you can add it to the problem, and then you can quiz yourself after you review the game so that you can understand the move better. Now, I think this kind of assumes that you've added enough problems to yourself so that when you go to actually quiz yourself, you have enough of these so that you can get yourself to remember what you should do better. Now, and then there's also a discussion feature where you can ask other players in the community why certain moves are a mistake. I think this actually is one of my favorite features because a lot of the time when we're reviewing AI, it's hard to understand like why some moves are correct and some moves are not. Like for example, this move, like it's saying black should capture, but the connection loses minus 0.7 points. Now this is a very small loss, but still, if it's not clear to you why some moves are mistakes, but it kind of looks like it's a big one, then you can always press this discuss button and ask. It will take a screenshot of this and you can post a question to the community. So at the bottom here you see mistakes, and you can actually sort them by point loss, which is a really nice feature. And you can also just sort them by your color so that you only see your own mistakes. And you can see that I have a lot of what is called blunders, and I think this is set by the rank above. So you can see like student level, I set this as 1p. I don't know actually what the difference is between 9p and 1p, but maybe for 9p yeah, so actually yeah, so for 9p's blunders are harsher with less points, but if I set this to 30k, then there will be no blunders, you can see. You can give yourself a little bit of leeway there. So if you set this to your rank, it will automatically adjust and show you and categorize the moves as blunders or small mistakes or inaccuracies. So blunder is obviously the worst category, and as you can see, it's showing me that white has made a lot of blunders. But actually, it looks like a lot of these were made when black was already pretty much won the game. You can see that on the right column here, it says like black plus a lot of points, right? And so this just means that black was already winning by a lot anyway. So I guess they're kind of less relevant. I wish you can sort by these. Then you can kind of get a sense of like what are the more meaningful blunders where when like those mistakes are going to cost you. Like for example, this one. Like you can see like here, white is winning by 0.3, but this blunder cost me 8.1 points. And yes, this is actually my main mistake this game. It's because I connected here, allowed black to go in. I had no way of containing black, and that was the main reason why I lost this game. So I had white Atari'd here. Then, so as you can see, when I click this, it's actually doing a live analysis. So it's actually showing me the best move as well as some good moves. Yeah, so this is actually all white needed. So white just needs to sacrifice the top, and then it's actually showing me that black needs to live. So it'd be interesting to see whether or not white could kill. My feeling is that white can probably kill. But now we're probably just a little bit beyond, but you can actually keep clicking and going through it to see where the AIs would play. Oh, it's actually, wow, this is interesting. So it's actually going for the trade, and it's not. So it's saying that black shouldn't jump out, and then maybe white captures this. Okay, so white's still winning by quite a lot, so yeah, I mean, this was a very good way for me to win this game, but I actually made that blunder. So when I press that button, it actually returns to the actual game, and we can see the analysis page again. So this was my first game in the Transatlantic League. I played Ali, who I'm quite familiar with, you know, kind of the way he played. I played a lot of games against him, and I actually talked to him quite often, he's very solid, and I've always not liked playing him because he's also a very patient player, and I also I'm not sure why, but I tend to make blunders against him a lot more frequently. So the beginning of this game was it flowed pretty nicely. I mean, it was just that one place where where things really started to fall apart, and those are the moments where they're really worth kind of falling back to, you know. Because especially if you're like a Dan player, or you wanted to like generally improve in the long term, you really have to catch yourself in those moments. If you actually spot a moment where you make these one blunder that you shouldn't have made, that say really changed the outcome of the game. You should really think about that, because those are the times when actually it matters a lot, right? Well, that one move changed the whole game, which is exactly the case, what happened to me here. So it was a really nice place for me to kind of pause and think, like, what caused that move? Why did I play it? And as I flash back, I remember that I played this move really, really quickly. And so that really made me reflect. And I think for me, I account maybe 50% of the reason as just me generally being rusty. Like, I wasn't practicing that much recently. And so, like, I thought, okay, wow, I obviously need to connect because it's a vital stone, but I didn't realize, I just squeeze and I just capture the bottom, and I'm so much ahead already. Even if I don't capture the bottom, as long as this group lives, white's still ahead. So either way, white is doing well. So there's actually really no point in connecting. And I didn't catch that in the game because I played way too quickly, which led to me ultimately losing this game. So after I struggled a bit, as you can see, the black was winning by way too much, because actually white died on the top. And I tried a little bit, struggled and tried to get some stuff back, but it wasn't going to be enough anyway. So this game was kind of interesting, and didn't have any way of getting it back, unfortunately. So this was the first game, and I was 0-1 down against Ali. Now I've been 0-1 down against Ali before, so I'm kind of already familiar with how that feels and stuff. So later on, I actually did well in the next two games, which I will show you next. This is the second game against Ali, and as you can see, so I was black, and you can see that the rank graph looks quite nice for black throughout the game. So I guess that's something to be proud of. Yeah, so in the beginning, white's a little bit ahead, and then it looks like black is doing well. So this game was actually very peaceful. I actually got an early lead, and my goal over this game was just to keep things simple. As you can see in the rank graph, there's a lot of small spikes, and that's actually very normal for human games. It's actually a very good sign that your opponent's using AI every move. If the rank graph is kind of like smooth, it should never really be smooth, and there should be it's usually quite jagged, because you're never really playing the ideal move. So the place I think I got the lead was when so when white attached, I felt like it was pretty easy for black to just kind of deal with this to get Sensei here, because white's pretty weak here, so white just can't really invade on the right. But black has already gotten the lower side, so it's all solid territory now. So I felt pretty confident that black benefited a significant amount. So I was after that, I was just trying to kind of lead the game into endgame. So after this, you can see that black is ahead by 11 points. And so I guess the mistakes later was just because white played a little too peacefully. And then I guess black lost a few points here. I was just trying to play pretty solid. I wasn't being aggressive or anything. So maybe that's why you can see later on here, white is actually gaining some points back. And then what happened? What was that one move? Oh wow, white's connection was a mistake actually. So it's saying that white should have pushed. Actually, that makes sense. Yeah, I thought the connection was bigger as well. So this was a pretty nice game, pretty peaceful. I was able to catch a mistake here by white. But you might be wondering, okay, so what's the mistake, right? I guess it's the cut. Maybe white should have just haunted. Well, that's what the AI says. Okay. And then white should extend. Wow, okay. Yeah, so I was planning on doing something like this. Like just get this right side and then deal with the stone. I could sacrifice the stone, so it's not super heavy yet. As long as I can reduce all of the left, I can't let white get all of the left. But white has to capture this well. So that was sort of my plan. And then when white cut, it seems like things kind of started to go in black's favor. Yeah, okay, cool. So after that win, it was 1-1. And then I played Ali again. Now, this game was actually quite a struggle. It felt like a struggle, but it doesn't look like it from the rank graph. So after 2 games, it was Nigiri and I was white. And Ali played this move, which is kind of, I know it's a move, but I never really studied it. So I don't really know the variations that well. So I kind of just pick one that I'm kind of thought that it was going to be decent. So I pushed out, cut, and then haned and turned. So I just went ahead and captured the left side. But then black got this huge moyo. So after I jumped, he attached, and then I cut, extended, and then haned. So over here, it actually turned out to be a very interesting trade. And even though, like, you can see from the rank graph, the win rate graph, that white is really ahead, but this is the kind of situation where the AI analysis doesn't really give you a good idea of what's actually going on in the player's heads. Now, at this point, I was extremely nervous because I knew I was going to get gote, right? And if I get gote, black is going to have the sente here, and just look at how strong black is in the middle here. This is just, it's completely uncertain what would actually happen. And so I was actually very caught up here in overtime, just trying to read things out and trying not to die. And then I actually do know that this was a blunder. So, it actually saying that black didn't do too well either. But yeah, I should not have attached. I was trying to get some, like, I was actually hoping for black descending. But obviously black would not descend. So this is actually something that happens a lot in AI analysis, is they try to get you to play some forcing moves. It's actually not necessary at all, which this is one of the big drawbacks about AI, is they like to suggest the best move, right? And then the best move is not necessarily relevant to human thinking. Like here, black is just exchanging this to get the Atari and Sente, which could affect the fight later on. So it wants to both reduce the amount of variations, which is always good for the AI, and also they want to get the Sente so it could help in the fight later. So this is one of the reasons why if you're not really strong and you use AI, it's actually not that helpful if no one's there to kind of explain to you what's going on. It can be pretty hard to figure out what's going on. So it looks like white did okay. You can see like how many spikes there are. There's just so many mistakes here that the AI is classifying as mistakes. But I think most of them is because they want black to do these forcing moves here on the left side. So yeah, so I did count, and the reason why I just kept sacrificing the upper right was I did figure out that I was ahead afterwards. So I just decided to let that one slide. So that's it. So after making the group alive and coping with the attacks, I was able to secure the win at the end. So a very nervous round against Ali, but I did manage to come on top. I'm going to sneak in a quick tip for those of you who really want to improve, is that Go is something that can take a long time, and not everyone has that amount of time. So something I like to do is kind of just fiddle around with Go things in my free time or during downtime, like when I'm brushing my teeth, or just, when I'm traveling, taking the train. Is really just have something related to Go, because it just kind of indirectly helps you think. And I actually benefited a lot from just doing life and death problems on the train when I was in college. And so But actually, so I used a web app called Ike, and they actually stopped that. And recently, what I've been doing is been just playing with AI on AI Sensei, and it's actually really easy because it's on a browser, so you can actually just play it. And then I've actually never beaten this kata. It's just so strong. Anyway, you can just start playing, and you can set some handicaps, and you can set different komis, get a sense of how many you need, and then you can just play, and it's actually instant, so it's pretty fun. I played the knight's move. I can't pincer. Okay. Anyway, so I'm not gonna play now, but you can see like you can just easily start a game, better not show the score. So it's gonna. And you can also analyze it, so automatically upload it, just like how you would regularly upload a game. So then after the round with Ali, then I played. Who did I play again? I think I played Tangi first. Yeah, I played Tangi first. So the game against Tangi was kind of interesting. So this first game I felt really good about, and the AI, I guess, agrees with me. So I read very carefully, and I was like, yep, I read this all out, and that's why I chose this. The only kind of bold move is really kind of just this invasion. So I made this invasion because I felt like there's just no way to kill, and it turned out to be an AI move. Wow, that's nice. So I invaded, and turns out that I lived. So that was good. And then the second game was kind of interesting. So in the second game, it was not so good. And wow, yes, you can see by the win rate. So I didn't read it out fully that as much. And I played also a few kind of careless moves that led to bad things that happened. And the first move that I played was this push and cut. I regret this a lot. Like I was so it was such a naive move. So when I pushed and cut, my idealistic intuition is that black would extend. I mean, why would black answer, right? Now when white plays here, it's obviously too good for white, right? So black would of course jump. And after the jump, things became quite bad for white. And it does say that it's an even game, but before this, you can see that white was already gaining a small lead here. So if white plays here, the groups are going to be connected, and it's going to be very difficult for black to continue the attack. And I kind of felt good after that. So this was kind of a big mistake. But I guess the real mistake is actually oh, interesting. So I did not catch that during the game. And this is the part where AIs actually become useful, because it does catch these moves where you kind of feel like it's good because, okay, my opponent peeped, I don't want to connect. I want to get something before connecting. But when I extended, when black connected, it turns out that the fight was terrible for white. But it looks like after a few moves, white got it back. So when white lived, it looks like black was ahead for a brief while, and then white was able to get it back. And then this middle fight was also very interesting. So it looks like there was a time when white could have died, but there were quite a lot of spikes. Very interesting. So this kind of thing is not super useful to review with AI because this is raw reading, and when something requires reading, especially the mid game, it's kind of pointless to go through the AI sequence because you just need to read it out, right? And when you know the answer, it's not really useful, right? It's like doing a math problem, but just looking at the answer key. So I hope that analogy makes sense. So it turns out that after this, white was able to win at the end. Oh, interesting. So this is very interesting. Now, my natural instinct was the turn as well, but there's actually quite a big difference between the turn and the diagonal. This is another thing that I did not catch during the game. So if black does play here, black is actually ahead by a tiny bit. So that means Tangi could have won this game if he saw this move. So I got quite lucky here. I did feel quite lucky because there's a big trade, and it turns out that I was like ahead by 2 points at the end. So I won by 2.5 only. And I knew this game could have gone either way, and the analysis definitely shows that it could have. So after the first two rounds, I kind of picked things up a little bit, and then the later 2 rounds kind of went a lot more smoother. When I played Andre, I think the 2 games went very well, and I thought that I had pretty good control over both games. As well as the games against Brady, I felt pretty good about both of them, except one place where I made such a pretty ridiculous mistake. And I'm going to show you my second game against Brady. So I won the first game, and then this was like anyone should have found this move. Like just so in the game, I read something and I was like pretty confident with it. But it just turned out to be completely the opposite. Like I thought, oh, I captured black, things are gonna go well, right? So it was this exact situation. So it was some fight in the corner, but you can see here that right now white has this cut, right, to save the stone on the left side at b7. Now in the game, white did not protect the cut, so white turned. So in the game, when black cut, white needed to connect, but I descended and I had to play that move extremely quickly. And see what happens after? When white cut, white has no way to do anything. So the Atari, I thought, didn't work because white is dead. Even if white connects, black can capture white. So it's actually not working. So I'll show you what happened in the game. So I actually had to sacrifice the 4 stones and completely allow black to escape. Now I'll show you what should have happened. So what should have happened is white should have protected, and then when black push, it's locally a ko, which means that black has to fight a ko in order to capture white in the corner. But you can see black is way heavier than white, so white could really just gain anything. Why can't white connect? Oh, black could cut first, I see. Okay, this is interesting. So I did not really read this variation out, but what if white? So I did see, when I was reviewing later by myself, I did see a variation where kind of white could just capture the corner. But I guess here it's saying that it might not be good even if black captures the corner. So this kind of thing is harder to evaluate for sure. So white would capture the corner now, and then black would find this ko-thread. That's kind of interesting. So white would end the ko, and black would push through. So, okay, but regardless, white is way ahead anyway. White is ahead by 15 points according to AI Sensei. So that's kind of interesting. So, but either way, white is really ahead now. But because of that carelessness, I made the game completely bad for white. So now you can see after this trade, black was ahead by about 7 points. So I completely threw out the lead. Black is ahead by 15 points on the board. Things were going quite poorly. But after, I guess, not too long, my opponent didn't really handle the lead very well. So then after I captured the left, I did feel like white was actually back in the lead. So a little bit of roller coaster for a lot of these games, but I guess that's what you expect with kind of fast games in the league. So when you're reviewing with AI and you see a whole bunch of spikes, it's not your own problem, because even the great Shusaku, his game has a whole bunch of spikes. And you see the almighty ear editing game, it's an inaccuracy. Now, I just wanted to show the quiz feature, because when you have problems, you can actually test yourself. So this is actually quite an interesting feature of AI Sensei. So you can kind of auto go to the next problem. I'll select kind of a delay here, and then I'm gonna not allow hints, and then I'm gonna start training. So I only added 4, but if you review multiple times, then so it's saying I should go there. Ha! Not the ear editing move. Okay, so I do remember that one. I should Atari and I shouldn't have connected. So I might go to the next one, and I should Tiger's Mouth, and then that's it. And then, oh, see, this was actually right after, so I think I should connect there. Nice. So I got 2 out of 2. So you can see, like, you can practice, and it kind of enforces some repetition, which is a great way to learn from your mistakes. So this is a really great feature, in my opinion. So that's it. When you're using AI Sensei, you don't really need to pay to use it. Most of the time when you're reviewing games, you're reviewing, trying to get some new ideas, trying to see, what's obvious that you did wrong, so you can improve your game that way. So you don't actually need really high tiers unless you really want to go for the really accurate and best moves. If you want to stay tuned with the Transatlantic Pro League, I'll leave a link in the description, which is the main website link where it has all the game records, as well as a link to the Twitch stream. By the way, all the games are streamed and commentated, which are highly valuable because there's a pro sitting right there in front of the screen to explain the match for you, where you can ask questions during the game is played. So I highly recommend you to check it out if you're interested. Have fun playing around with AI Sensei, and I will catch you in the next video.